Hey everyone. This video should be pretty quick. We did a quick little tutorial in class for how to do our exploded plan drawing or exploded plan axo drawing. So basically you can work with the same model file from the previous exploded axo if you want, just because you already have the drawing in the 5x5 scale. Please copy and paste your grid from the first set of drawings into this project and then rotate it 3D because we will be using this as a reference. All right, and as always, make sure you do a file save as. I already file saved mine, but please save as so you have some copies. All right, so it's gonna be my safety and Control C. Just make sure I grab the right arrow. Okay, so I'm going to do a Boolean union. I know some of your models are not perfect, and unfortunately, you're not able to make a perfectly clean Boolean union, but it should look something like this. And then just know that everything that you do to cut your plan drawings, it should reflect the vertical grid. Keep in mind that when we're cutting these plan drawings, we do need to envision our people actually, using the space. So it's not just about, cutting up our, little forms. It's about, showing spaces that are occupiable by people and, why they're interesting. All right. We also want to space it out a little bit so that we don't, we don't want to just start with one floor and then, finish in the same floor. Then it's not really helpful. So what I did, I just rotated the scale figures 3D just so I can use them as a little reference for this. Later on, I will be removing them, these little figures, but this is just for educational purposes. Okay, so I have my little figures, so it would be nice if I had a ground floor section, maybe a section cut on this level. This level is nice, and then should be fine with the top level. So I don't need you to go crazy with cutting multiple sections. As long as you have the floor, the top, and then, a few spaces in between just to show us how your space functions, that's really all I need. I'm not gonna do a new, um, I can't really space out these drawings for you only because everyone's model is different. So where the corners overlap, it's gonna be different for everyone. So that's something that you should be able to do on your own at this point. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. All right, so first thing I want to do is make sure that my grid is lined up with my actual model. Currently it is not, and this is just so that it's a nice clean way to reference the lines that I have. Okay, so now that's nicely lined up, and then I'm just going to change my layer to red and pick my section planes. So I know that I liked this plan, so I'm gonna do one here. I'm gonna do a cut, let's see, maybe one over here. Keep it at the same distance. I'm definitely going to do one over here. It's a little close, but it's okay. One down here, and then my floor. Maybe what I'll do, because I have my little person there, maybe I will just skip this little one and just focus on these to keep this a simple little video. Okay, so now that I have my curves, I'm going to start distributing it. Keep in mind that I will need to see the top zone. I don't know if this is going to help you or not to have the extra line there. But just keep in mind that I want a top and a bottom. Oh, and everything should be shifted 1/8 of an inch so we can see how the walls are getting cut. Okay. All right, so now this one I'm going to leave. I don't need any lines because I'm not cutting anything. It's just going to show the top view. This one has this top red line. And I'm going to cut this however many times I need to with the duplication. And you see, as I move along, I have fewer and fewer cutting planes. What we did in class was played with the C plane, with the clipping plane. So essentially, we're basically just doing this over and over again. So if I'm following along my line, you see I'm cutting the building. So every single time we're here, we see what I'm cutting through, and we're focusing on what's inside these spaces. All right. So let's continue. I will delete that clipping plane. All right. So now I have 3, 2, and this is the last one. All right. So now I'm gonna just erase the lines that I don't need just so that I don't get confused. All right. And I'm going to start cutting. All right. So I'm just gonna select these red lines because I know that they're my cutting plane. Extrude curve. And if your direction is not going, off into the horizon, you probably just have to change your direction. So just type in D on your keyboard and then it'll change to wherever you click your mouse. Right, and I'm just gonna stretch these a little bit so that I know it's a clean cut. And this one, we know that we're not cutting anything because it's at the roof, so we could just delete that. And so I'm just left with these 3. So that means I'll have 4 of these in total after this video. And I'm gonna use the simple trim tool. So select my cutting objects. I'm just gonna do all 3 at once. Enter. And then I'm just going to trim. And I will trim this as well. And then I'm going to trim this one. Oh, and I forgot my ground plane, so I need to duplicate this one more time. And I will move this down from here to there. All right, so I really don't need these little people here, so select scale figure. I just did select objects. I will keep the ones at the front, but I don't need any of this. All right, so now I can delete the planes that I used for cutting. And I see I have, a full model, and then each time I cut a little bit more of the model down. All right, until it's just very, very base floor plan. Okay. So now I'm going to take the copy of these, stretch them over here. I'm going to rotate them. And then internally, one by one, I'm going to rotate them on a 45. And give myself a little bounding box. Type in shear. All right, so now I know that I have my full series of drawings. If I wanted to just get a better look, I could change it to shaded and see that's the full model. In each section, I get lower and lower. All right, so now it will be your job to determine how you best fit this on InDesign. We can talk a little bit more about the scale for this on Friday. After I see everyone's work, then maybe I'll release a template. But just make sure you at least get to this point. Make 2D. You don't need the hidden lines. Uh, Grouping output is fine. And then just align them so that it's consistent. Okay, so just get to this point and then you can move on to the rendering video, which is going to come next. We'll talk more about the InDesign layout on Friday. Thank you.